Kavan, welcome, brave souls. I am your GM in the Great Barrier. Welcome to Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. We are here tonight with the 8th episode of our season, Chal, DISovjaj, Part 1. So, before we get things going, I just have a couple shout-outs to give our players that run other streaming channels. One, OverlandGamer, for example. See that you've been playing some Fallout 76 recently. You were saying, I think last week, there was an update, Joe?
Yeah, they did a big new update with Sunset Strip, I think it's called, this year, and it's kind of opening up beyond Appalachia more. So I realized I hadn't played 76 since December, so I pulled up a brand new character and have been running around, um, hitting everything as hard as I can because I've gone basically a melee tank character for it. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm setting up something for my podcast involving Fallout. So we'll have more information on that when that drops. I do want to have a shout out to a new Twitch channel. If you like live play D&Ds with kind of characters dressing up as their characters, I won D&D. I'll share the link in chat in just a second. Be sure to give them a follow and show them some Star Trek Adventures love.
So, if you message... Okay, yeah. Well, I'll get that. I may just make you a mod at some point, Joe. That way you can get in the shoutouts here. Except for that did not seem to work. Odd. Anyway.
They're a very new channel. Like they're
Nice.
setting up their first game here in the next couple of weeks. So
I see.
that's why they don't have any channels stuff yet.
Well, then yeah, definitely give them a follow. Um, and we'll be back with you in a moment there, Joe. Also, another person to follow would be our own Mr. Caligo, who plays Raldar, the ship's engineer. And they have their own channel with D&D and variety gaming. How's everything going on the channel there?
So it's doing all right. New art assets are almost done, so that'll be fun.
Nice. Things for your avatar or the or for the D&D game.
Yes.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it, and I recommend all of you check it out. Give them both follows. For those of you catching it in the archive, as always, links should be in the description of the video. Nobody has told me otherwise yet, so I'm going to presume so. And of course, speaking of followers, for those of you watching in the archive, if you want to drop in, catch any of these live, we run these Tuesdays at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, as well as our Aegis games on Saturday. That's 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. We just broke our 100 follower mark here on Twitch, which is exceptionally nice. Likewise, for those of you watching there, feel free to follow us in the archives. There are a few exclusive little treats in addition to the complete archives of this channel, so it just makes sense to keep an eye on that in general. But yeah, with that, I think that it is time for us to get underway. So, we'll start off with a log going back to our own Mr. Joe the Overland Gamer in the role of Azek Korg. Joe, whenever you're ready.
Captain's log. 36th day of Marut. Happy birthday, dear brother. I know it's been quite the ride for us both. The journey to the Thoridor sector has been set. Our mission is unknown, which has me worried. I trust Tabak of the House of Korg. He would not take us into unnecessary danger, unless that danger furthers his house's interest. Typical Klingons' way of life in this universe. Computer, pause recording. Delete that last sentence. Continue recording. The ship is running fairly smooth. A few technical issues from time to time. The joy of having an old ship with new-ish technology. The crew is training with Hemok, which he appears to be enjoying himself quite well. I have offered to train our special crewmate, but Tabak wanted her to be trained like the others. He's a brave father, an even braver husband when his wife finds out. Perhaps, well, Klingon relationships have always been somewhat of a mystery to me. I'm looking forward to this adventure. Something tells me it will be filled with honor and glory and battle. The likes I haven't been seen and to participate in some time. Computer, pause recording. Strike that last sentence. Continue recording. The ship will be ready for whatever comes our way. I'll see to it, or someone's hide will be decorating these quarters of mine. Dear brother, we'll see each other again someday soon. Captain's log, signing off.
Okay. Yep. And so, several days out from Mektor, the Yan glides along through empty space, moving at warp. Little known about its mission beyond that along the way you've been performing tasks to shake down the vessel and see how the new upgrades or repairs are playing out in deep space function. Though command remains with Mr. Azek Korg, the leader of the ship, or rather the leader of the house, Tabak, has come to join you once again. Thus, he is still the most senior among them, and as Azek has learned, there is another purpose to him being out here. I would say as we get things started and as we get some reacquainted with the Yon back out in space, I would ask, would anyone particularly like a scene right now?
Only if I can kill the doctor.
You may certainly try.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
That would be an interesting thing to watch.
I will eat him.
Doubtful.
Your competitor.
I'll tell you what, Doctor. As you know, this new doctor that has served the captain, indeed only serves the captain, it would seem, but has occasionally come into your sick bay. Let's just say we go to the start of this day, and reflexively, the first thing you do is to check outside your office to see whether he has entered. Peeking your head out through the door, seeing if he is in some corner skulking about with medical supplies that you would rather he not abscond with. You find yourself in an otherwise empty room. Nothing besides the usual array of biobeds, other medical equipment, a few things you've had the opportunity to order that Zionol acquired while on planet. As you would know, of course, the Yan had returned from its long journey, just about being gone for almost a month, and a Klingon month at that. It was there was quite a bit of time from when you decided to stay behind on Mektor with the captain, and that and time that since the Yon got back or was even able to depart again at the at Tabak's behest. So you had a bit of time to do other work, acquire some materials, and otherwise get a few special imports. But as to this, I do think that there was one scene we had been putting off for a little while, or had planned to do, and then not been able to get around to, given given the interruptions on last week, or weeks prior. Would you like a moment with the lab with a very particular task?
Yes, I would be delighted.
Yeah, very well. You may elect to go to a bit of medical equipment here, or you can return to your office where you might have something to run analysis as well.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to leave that stuff out where this amateur can mess with my equipment.
Indeed, indeed. So,
Medical checks for new crewmen?
No, not that. That will have to happen at some point in time. But after making sure that I am alone, I seal the office doors and return to my station, whereupon I lug out my chest of equipment, Gorn-sized equipment,
indeed.
rummage through it, find the device I'm looking for, my M count detector, if you will, and I take out the small sample that I collected when I was caring for a poor injured child and not taking advantage of their medical condition in any way, shape, or form. And I would begin to run my analyses.
Indeed, indeed. So, with the sample that you have kept very securely on your person until such a time as you were certain that you could gain some distance from the man you consider either a charlatan or perhaps an unknown, or otherwise just there are varying reasons to question the sudden decision to bring in Dr. DISovjaj, but I'd say probably the biggest one is to make sure that you can keep the experiment you have preserved for the good of the house. You pull the sample of a deep magenta colored vial bearing the blood of Takan, the son of Tabak, and install it into the system. So, I'd say there's been some preliminary analysis that you've been running with it, but you wanted to wait until you could get back this particular bit of equipment here, and something that you could use to work in tandem with a relatively secure part of the Yon's main computer. I will give you the opportunity to roll a reason plus medicine roll, and I will. Yep. I will give you the option of being assisted by the ship with sensors and medicine. Or actually, more aptly, it would be computers plus medicine.
Would it be more likely for records to be kept if I do that?
It would.
Then I will not use the ship.
You can always clean the logs out, although I'm sure someone might notice the cleansing.
After the events of Starship Lockdown, I know how much control you have over this ship.
Well, Azek has that too now.
Yeah, exactly. Too many people have control over that, over ship information. Let's see. So I increased the complication range by 2 because of that. One of my genetics applies.
Genetics would most definitely apply as a focus.
And difficulty?
difficulty on this task, I'm going to say that since we've set there's going to be some sort of... some time has taken and there's been some preliminary analytical work, I'd like to say the difficulty would be 4. Rather 3, because you've had some time to work with it. It was going to be higher when we initially plotted this out.
Okay. I will just do a roll. So that is 2 successes. Not enough.
Okay. Well, so let's see. With what you have on hand, Kresic, I'm going to say that this is more a matter of the sensor data still reading a little bit inconclusive, and perhaps the need for a little more time. That we'll call it the succeed at cost. That the sensors are basically the medical equipment you are having to do is working to complete the mapping of Takan's genome in this situation, and you are particularly trying to identify the segments in the DNA which ought to reflect the impacts of the Kuvat virus. As you know, the captain and his wife, or that is to say Tabak and his wife, are both Koha. Thus, they both bear certain genetic markers that would show that their ancestors were impacted by the Kuvat plague nearly a century prior. And that code has carried from offspring to offspring. Thus, it's necessary in order to determine why they have not 1 but 2 instances of producing Hebhuch children that should not be possible by your understanding of the medical science. The computer system is working on it steadily, but it is not acquiring enough information with what you have in the blood sample.
And since I'm not running it through the shipboard computers, I'm basically asking a Nokia brick phone to do what a PC should be doing.
Kind of.
Yes, but a really, really big Nokia.
Yes.
Yes.
If I drop it, it will break through the ship.
Yep.
So would a Nokia.
Yeah, exactly. Good thing I didn't roll a complication.
Yeah. I'm just thankful that I can't possibly think of a species that would fire a full spread of Nokia phones at the on.
That might tear our rift in subspace.
Yep.
That's just a railgun.
I believe that was actually the premise behind isolytic weapons.
They were decommissioned Nokia phones?
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense.
It runs them into their antimatter equivalent, and the force of the explosion... No, I had it wrong. That's quantum torpedoes. That's when they realized they couldn't go any higher in the photon torpedo, thus you expose antimatter to the one thing that cannot break. Peak weapons. Yeah. Anyway.
And we are nowhere near those.
Yes.
Unless?
No.
Oh, okay. GM, spend like 10 points of threat. Unless?
Oh, dear. I'm going to ask, since you have the unique benefit of seeing the Discord chat, do you want quantum torpedoes in this campaign?
Oh my god.
No. No, I do not.
Yep, for those wondering, there's the recurrent monkey's paw gif. I really need to just make this an emote. Put that on the list.
Monkey's paw emote.
Yes. Anyway, Kresic, you can leave.
So I'm just gonna let it cook.
Yeah, you can leave this program running for a while and go on with that. This will take a little bit more time, and as far as you know, you might actually be arriving near the coordinates relatively soon, or at least there's been hints about that. So we can if you'd like, you can leave the sick bay, leave your office door secured for now, and head on out to otherwise engage with the ship. Would you like to continue on at this point, or would you prefer to yield to someone else?
I am more or less gonna yield to someone else, so I just head out, seal my doors, and then just start tidying the medical facility. It is, in comparison with what you've seen before, it has been being kept spotless now. And so Kresik is just going through and cleaning everything, making sure everything is in as good a shape as possible. And I'm good leaving the scene there.
Indeed. Well, we depart from the meticulously kept sick bay with one other ask around just to see if anybody wants a particular scene, or if we should just advance the story to the next segment. Well, hearing none, I guess. Yes, on we go. Let's see. I would say, just to lay some context at this point, that amid the journey and amid the shakedown, there was an opportunity for Tabak to relay more specific coordinates to the helm. So that has probably been done at this point to provide you a basis for your search here. And we will be going up to the bridge. I would like to ask who would like to be on the bridge. I figure at the very least Azek is there, at least starting off with the command chair, if not moving to the helm at some point. If anyone would like to bring supporting characters in, they could. And I'd say, Traven, if you want to be there, given that you have been taking on additional duties, then you could indeed be on the bridge as well.
I'll be there. K-Buff will be there.
Definitely put Tabak on.
Obviously.
I would love to be there.
All right. Would you prefer a console with a chair, Traven, or would you rather take a position standing up over the captain's shoulder?
Standing up, but weirdly beside Vopri.
That was exactly what I was going to give you. Okay, so let me transition sets here.
I'm just sort of pacing, arms crossed behind the captain's chair.
Yep. So Tabak, I was actually...
We don't actually have an official helmsman yet, do we?
No, at this point, we can say that there might be a more proper helm officer. TBD, not yet introduced. I had some ideas. Art did not work for it, so I have momentarily not got that quite working just yet. But
okay.
We can work out supporting characters as it comes, and if need be at different times. If Tabak feels like he needs to take the big chair, or Azek feels like he needs to take the front chair, then you can do those roles as needed.
Can Robot Lady fly the ship?
Oh, I'd say that Betty is plenty capable of giving the occasional course correction. Indeed, she probably has been helping Nogri just a little bit.
Whether he knows it or not.
He's a big meaty guy, but he's not a dumb meaty guy. So anyway, yeah. We joined everyone on the bridge. Tabak, as you said, you've entered, and you now find yourself pacing as you approach the coordinates. Let's see, Traven, since you're on the bridge, would you care if I take Nogri for the time being?
Absolutely, you'd be great.
Yeah. Actually, I will make the offer for anyone else that wants supporting characters. Nogri is here. Hamok is here. So anyone that is really feeling it can give voice to the characters.
Okay. Oh, Hammock is at the weapons console, huh?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So, in Taba, well, let's see. I'll just start with Nalgri turning from the helm. Captain, I believe we're approaching coordinates, bossman.
I'm assuming he's talking to Azek.
My speakers ended up fading out on me. Say that again.
Bossman, we are on approach to coordinates. Just so you know, no signs of any vessels immediately nearby, and nothing on immediate navigational sensor.
Helm, take us out of warp. We're let's see. Oh wait, who's flying this thing? Oh wait, that would be me. I stepped down to the helm and
No, we
taken
have
the
a helm
course
officer.
Oh, do we?
Nagri
We
is
have a
basically sitting at the helm.
Nagri's doing it. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
If you,
All right,
I mean, you can reflexively come down to look over his shoulder and look at the helm.
Yeah, I would.
Yep.
And then take us out of warp as we approach. Vopri, what are your sensors seeing?
I am running a sensor scan right now. Mr. Lex, would you care to supply me some help here? Traven, Vopri is offering the opportunity to coordinate, so you can actually take lead on this role if you would like, or Vopri can take the lead and you can assist.
Okay, for some reason I thought you said Nogri. My bad.
No. Traven, would you?
love to.
Oh, okay. So Vopri, well, I am going off of. It's not quite out yet, but Modifius is planning on releasing, I think, PDFs in the next week for the Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition, and I do have a couple things that I would at least adopt as house rules pending a more complete changeover. One of those would be articulating that when it comes to tasks on board a ship, you can have one assist plus the ship and a lead, so that would mean 2 players or 2 characters working together and then being supplemented by the ship. I will roll for Vopri, and then Traven, you can roll. You said you're taking the assist?
If he would let me take lead.
Oh, yeah, then you can take the lead. I'm sorry, I just got scatterbrained for a moment.
He whispers to Vobright.
He just, gives a quick nod and starts to work on it. I will ask then for somebody to roll sensors plus science on the ship.
Working on it.
Thank you.
Science.
All right.
One die, right?
Yep. I'm going to set this task to a difficulty of 2. So, 1 success is already coming from the ship. Vopri has given 2 successes, so Traven, you just need to succeed once. And
may I use my sensors focus?
You may. Hey, we didn't have a funny 00. All right, so that is 5 successes. Who would like to be designated momentum officer tonight?
I think Joe's already volunteered.
I did, and I snagged 3 of them for us.
Excellent.
Overreaching.
Excellent.
All
Unless
right.
somebody else wanted to, I just thought
No,
I'd
it's
speed
fine.
things up for us.
It's fine.
You took the initiative. I respect that. Very
Being
good.
Do we get another
Going to your
momentum for that?
head.
No, but you get the GM's respect. Doesn't respect feel good?
Didn't we already have the GM's respect?
It makes up for
Vopri.
it make It makes up for that accidental threat I gave him before we started.
Vopri proceeds to look over the sensor data with you. And he'll immediately start rattling off a few bits of details, saying, I am not seeing any active subspace systems or anything to suggest any active signals here. This is most unusual. He looks over. Is there anything in particular we should be looking for, Captain? Chuck, we... He addresses you directly there, Tabok.
Scan this frequency, and I send the frequency over to him.
Yep. With that, I'm going to say, Traven, you are the first to notice... let's see... You notice that you were starting to see signs of something on one of the spectrums, and with Tabot clarifying the frequency, it helps you gain a proper sensor lock on a site. I've just messaged you in the Discord.
Getting a faint signal from a yellow dwarf star, Captain. About 2 light years away.
Set course.
Yep.
All right.
Sorry, he stepped right over Isaac and just said set course.
Aye, sir.
Yeah. I must ask, as far as internal monologue goes, how has it felt being back on this bridge, and particularly we'll let you guys, if a scene comes to it, describe in your thoughts on the matter. But how have you been carrying yourselves when you are both on the bridge? Would be a good question.
Tabok misses his chair and he misses his cat.
Cheshire did not come along.
No, she did not. He also misses his office. But he's not captain now. So he has tried his Klingon damnedest to stay out of Isaac's way and let him do his job. But Tabok's sort of feeling his Wheaties right now and is sort of assuming the mental state of being in charge again.
I see.
Hence the pacing, because he's not in his chair.
When Tabok is on the bridge, Isaac is noticeably not sitting in the captain's chair. He's actively either standing in front of, kind of in front of it with enough room where if somebody was sitting behind him, they'd have plenty of space for it. Otherwise, he's standing over helm.
And right in front of the view screen.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and Tabok's not sitting in the chair either, because it's not his chair anymore. So I think we're acting very weird at the moment.
I'd say that anyone that is marginally perceptive on the bridge kind of notices it, so, not Hamok.
Hamok wouldn't notice anything less than a supernova. He's as dense as neutronium.
Even then, it'd be like a, whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah. All right. So, the Yan warps towards the system with the signal that you've supplied Tabok as a guide for the helm. Nagri's working ably enough at that, but Isaac, I'm sure you have a moment or two where you provide some mild corrections to his course or suggestions.
Yep, indeed.
At least the opportunity to say so. Whether that's the thing he does, I leave more to you. Yes, I think we are picking up something interesting over around the third planet of system. Doesn't seem like it has a name in the database.
Azek will look over towards Tabak.
This is an extraction mission.
Oh, okay.
The Klingon or the person, I can't even be sure if he's Klingon. The person with that transponder is the one we're here to remove. If he's alive. I have no idea what we are to expect in space or on the ground. We're going into this blind, and for that, I would apologize if our language had a means of apologizing.
Oh, Tabak just says an untranslatable word. So, probably, to be fair, he uses an Orion phrase. So I imagine that's his second language.
Tabak, whatever, would he address him as captain still, or would it be
Johui.
there? Chui? Okay.
Yeah. My lord. For those of you who don't speak Klingon, Johui means my lord.
Chui. This crew has served you well before me, and they have served me well since I took over. And we will do nothing less than our very best to bring your family honor and glory. And kind of trying to rally the crew. Could I do a zero difficulty, like presence and command, to try to rally the bridge crew?
Go right ahead.
Doesn't help, but I mean, it's a try.
The it doesn't quite land with the small crowd here. It doesn't help. Hamok is probably staring at pretty lights that are on his console.
Oh, come on, he's not that dumb.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, okay, I'll take that.
In any case, it's not quite the rousing lead-in that you were hoping for. It also doesn't help that most of the crew is not too able, or they've not gotten down the battle hymn that is being discussed in the Discord. But that said, let me assign you guys, well, at least for those that are watching here, let me make sure that the chat, or that the chat in the archive is, those watching both on Twitch and YouTube are aware of the momentum you guys have already earned, at least. So, let's see. There we go. All right. So, with that, yeah, we'll keep it going here. Nagri pulls you out of warp, and the Yan arrives, approaching the orbit of a great blue world over there. As this goes on, more sensor readings are coming in, with Traven and Vopri at sensor base stations. Go right ahead there, Traven, as you see some updates coming in on the planet.
Planetary scans are coming in now. The third world in the system appears to be habitable. It's looking like a pelagic planet, mostly ocean, but there's a few land masses. The signal appears to be coming from an island in the northern hemisphere.
Are there any other ships in orbit?
no signs of other ships in orbit.
What about on the ground?
Tell you what, let's see. Vopri will look over this. I may be seeing signs of metallic components on the ground location, but this is strange. There's some interesting bioenergy fields around most of the land masses, and some of that is creating mild sensor difficulties. I also believe that same landmass does suggest slight radioactive emissions or something on, not directly on the island, but nearby, that would possibly suggest a ship, but at very low levels. I can't quite make it out.
Is it possible to increase power to the sensors to try and get a more detailed scan?
We could expend a point of power to sort of create that advantage. Or we could always just since we are piggybacking off the original sensor task, we could spend a momentum to obtain information.
All right, we can do that. Let's do that.
Yes.
All right. Azek, please drop a momentum. Thank you.
Got it.
Vopri tries to modify things along with your suggestion. Oh dear. I believe there is signs of a bird of prey class vessel. It appears to be underwater, fully submerged. Minimal power systems, possibly difficult to discern, but I almost think it may well be flooded.
Is that where the signal is coming from?
No, somewhere in the island, much more dense for sensors.
Can you detect light? Can you detect life signs on the hull?
On the hull or on the island?
On the Hulk,
The Hulk?
the ship, the submerged ship.
Some life readings, none of them appear to be Klingon.
Fish. Can you tell if the ship can be powered up?
That would require more in-depth inspection inside the Klingon ship itself.
I didn't improve the sensors as much as I'd wanted to.
We don't have a high-resolution sensor talent, and Klingon sensors are tactically capable. We could tell you which shipyard built that bird of prey, but more in-depth technical readouts on its exact status are more difficult.
What's the depth? You say the ship is flooded. What's the depth?
I would say a plot convenient depth to give it a relatively submerged status. Not so much that our EV suits couldn't handle it if we were to go underwater.
Life signs on the island nearby, the nearest landmass.
Aren't
Specifically Klingon life signs.
Oh dear, it is quite substantial. It will take some time for me to do that. Traven, since you are, I'll say that, correct me if I'm wrong, you're a little more life science specialized, or you've picked up some stuff along that line, haven't you?
Yes, I specialize in botany and chemistry.
Gotcha. I'm going to say that with those focuses and, just because of how well the particular role was, I'll say that you have been working to pull exactly this information, or try to tease it out. It is much more difficult to tease out, just because there is a lot of bioactivity, and as you've come to learn, Klingon sensors, unlike what you understand ships of more Trill origin, or indeed of Starfleet's origin, Klingon sensors are not quite so specified for some of these scientific purposes. So you can at least pick out a little bit of this.
It's a little fuzzy, Captain, but it's looking like there's vague signs of about 4 to 6 Klingons on the surface with a vague sense of their location. But I think they're there.
I concur.
Are they close to each other or separated?
I stand by. I am running overlap of island map now. So Vopri will switch up the effects budget on this episode, and I am projecting rough grid area of island as we speak, Captain. Or Chuckwe. Vopri has slipped up quite a bit.
Death.
I'm sorry, I had to turn my mic off because I had to laugh. Thank you, you evil man, you.
Is this evil because because edit out later, because I just took the Risa map and
Yes, you're giving us the Risa episode without it being Risa.
Are you sure it's not Risa?
I'm pretty sure, because Risa's not in Klingon space.
Maybe
Anything
went too
Klingon
far.
space.
This
see
is
it.
the map from
Yep.
Star Trek Online.
Yep.
You did say specifically Klingon, didn't specify, humans or Trill or. Do Vulcans go to Risa?
Not willingly.
No, not willingly.
Unless they're climate control specialists.
Vulcans would rather just sit in a closet and meditate for a month. They're boring. Except for every 7 years. Then they get interesting.
okay. So let's see. I'm going to make some yellow dots here because I realize that trying to do red when there are big red lines on the map would be that'd be a problem. Projecting knife signs now. There appears to be at least 4 that I can discern in rough locations throughout the island. One of them here appears.
Is this a volcanic island?
It would appear to be, but I do not see any activity suggesting the active is geologically active, Captain. I would indeed suspect there are probable lava tubes that have been since vacated.
He's actually standing. Tabak is standing behind Vopri so we can look at his monitors, and he actually sort of like does that heavy Klingon pat on the shoulder and says, "Not Captain, my friend. Not Captain right now."
Chuck, I am sorry. He looks over to Azak. I am sorry.
Force of habit. Do any of these 4 life signs, are any of these the source of the transponder signal?
No, Captain. The transponder.
Admiral,
There'll be whales here. You just said it in that right tone.
Yeah.
I believe the transponder signal is coming from roughly. Stand by. Roughly that location, Captain. Chuckweed. This will take time. I'm sorry.
Say Admiral Aznik 10 times and it should work.
Oh?
Admiral, darn it, we're all confused.
One of our yellow dots just turned red.
Oh, I believe I've just lost the biosign.
Really?
It was a fainter one. It is falling off records, but I have made an indication of it.
These are Klingon life signs, yes?
What I believe to be, and only rough locations.
Captain, permission to scan for other life signs?
Judging by this terrain and the apparent greenery, I believe you're going to find a lot of life signs. Go for it.
Okay.
I'm going to try and narrow down the parameters to things that could kill a Klingon, so something large or in packs.
Okay, so looking for fauna type biosigns then.
Yes, I'm going to look fauna, and if not fauna, I'm going to look for animal.
That would.
While he's doing that, I'm going to check with Azek and
Okay, just to.
what's his name? He doesn't even care.
Nogri?
Nogri, yeah, he doesn't even really care what his name is.
Leave him alone.
How soon till we get to orbit?
We can. I am bringing us to standard orbit now, boss. The overboss.
And how soon till we're in transporter range of where the transponder is?
I mean, probably there. We're at about 100,000 Calicums now.
Hammock. Does anybody want to play Hammock, or do I have a conversation with myself?
I could do that if the other players don't want to do it.
Is your team ready?
Team. I gotta say, well, that actually, they are my team, aren't they? Oh. When you say ready, do you mean like am I grading them on? Would I suggest? Are we going to battle? Are they ready to take a blade or disruptor for you, or?
Are they ready to fight if need be?
They could probably fight. They die pretty well. I don't. Did you want them to win?
Yes.
I'm still working on that. Well, most of them aren't quite used to the spears and the repeaters. They got a bit of a kick. I really like it, actually. They don't so much.
All right. Bring yourself and 5 others that you... Bring the 5 best.
Okay.
We are going down to where that transponder is. Azek?
Wait, are you coming too, Captain?
Yeah, yes.
Or boss? Yeah, that.
Chohui.
Chohui. Okay, yep, okay.
Azek. There's a ship under the water that may be salvageable. See if we've got a pressure suit that'll fit Raldar and maybe any more of the engineering staff. See if they can get there and at least empty it. Maybe we can restart the engines.
Sounds good.
Yeah. As this is going, Hemok actually steps up to Traven. Hey, you want to go down to the planet?
No,
Okay.
not at all. I am like 80% certain there's carnivorous plants down there. It's a deep fear of mine. No.
No. With I will ask Traven with the other task. Did you want to just obtain the information with momentum you guys have on hand, or did you want a separate role?
I want to go with a separate role this time.
Okay, let's call this reason plus science. The ship can assist you with sensors and science.
Can Betty
I'll
help?
Betty does love me.
I'll say let's just stick with things as is on this one.
Fair enough.
All right, so the ship can help with what now?
Sensors plus science.
Let's go.
Oh,
Okay.
nope.
With 2 successes from your role, Traven, we can at least say it actually doesn't look like there's much in the way of large fauna there. There is a fairly dense array of life that actually suggests some active fauna, but none of it actually reads as particularly large. The planet doesn't seem to have, given the pelagic status, there's not as much priority for that. Your best guess would be, that, you'd be dealing with something along the lines of amphibians. And maybe insects.
God. Dang it. Yeah, I'm gonna go. But I'm getting the cyborg lady.
Okay, I was gonna ask her next.
She has a sense of safety with her coldness.
Yep. So let's work out exactly how this party's going to look. So people are going to respective parts of missions. At the very least, let's sort out directives here. So first and foremost, I imagine you want to find the transponder and particularly the Klingon attached to it. Would that be fair? Or the one that you were sent to locate?
Correct.
All right.
And seeing as they're supposed to be at the transponder, that's where I'm looking first.
Yep. And then on top of that, so like one part of it is send a crew down to locate to try and locate the individual in question, and then another objective, you want to have people look at the ship as well, or try to.
Yep, that's the B story.
That's what you think is the B story. All right.
What I hope is the B story, because I could use another ship.
Okay. So let's see here. Looking over this, let's get the players all set up here. Let's get an away team going. We'll go around here. Tabak, you wanted to join the. You wanted to go down to the surface, I presume, to look at the beacon.
Yes.
All right. Who else would? Let's go down the list here. Caligo, did you want to bring Lynn in on that part of the mission?
Hell yeah, of course.
All right. Well, you'll get to activate her in a moment, so you can give her another talent, value, focus, or you can put a point in an attribute or a discipline when it comes around to that. Let's see here. Rev, do you want to bring the doctor or anyone else down to the planet? I don't know if this is quite Zional's scene, but...
Would imagine, so there's a life sign that was faint, correct?
There was a life
That
sign that
disappeared?
appears to be winking out, yes. There is a lootable body.
We don't... Come on.
Maybe.
Bears. spare parts.
There is a life that potentially needs to be saved. Kresik will go.
All right. So Kressik's down there. I understand Ray's around, but not feeling so great. So first off, feel better there. Let's see. We'll set that aside. Joe, do you want to bring anyone down to the planet?
No. DuPont is rather not fond of water, and Azek is going to be busy salvaging.
Fair enough, fair enough. You do have, if you would like, there is, let's see. Geez, looking down the supporting roster. There is Tohui. Dar is technically an option. You could take over Hamok if you want. Yes, I will say Dar officially supporting character. I think that's an as desired basis for.
My boy.
I'd say that Caligo has a say.
I mean, yeah, he can come down if you guys want to bring him. He has
Yes.
self-control.
He's become sociable and reliable to a point.
We can't not bring our mascot.
Dar is no longer a mascot.
You're lucky he hasn't started asking what money is yet.
That's why we keep him away from Zionol.
Back pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could play. I guess I could play Dar. I guess.
All right. Yeah, if you've got no objection there, Caligo.
That's fine.
All right. Yeah, that being the case, Dar also gets an activation. He can receive a talent, value, focus, or an increase to an attribute or discipline.
Increase that man's science.
No.
I wanted. I kind of want to take. I can gain a focus, right?
You could gain a focus.
I kind of just want to take a focus called Smash. He's already got melee combat, but like actually focusing on smashing something.
Oh boy. Just basically an excuse to break electronics or rocks or coconuts or what have you.
People,
Yep.
I think.
people, doors, bulkheads.
Applied violence.
Nice.
Specifically applied violence.
All right. So, yeah. Then, Traven, you want to bring yourself down for this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna tag along with the medical team.
Okay.
Stay out of combat as much as possible.
I'm pretty sure the other doctor is going to want to come too, isn't he?
I'd say that as, let's see. There will probably be at least a momentary scene involved there. Or before we get to the bay. Rather, that is before we get to the transporter, or before we get to the transporter room for the first team beaming down. So, let's get that set up here. All right. So let's see. For your well, before we go on down to the transporter room, I will. Raldar, would you actually like a scene just so that we can see him becoming aware of the situation and particularly the salvage mission here?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, info is starting to get relayed. We can come in like part way through the conversation, or if you want to say, oh, Tabak, would you want to have relayed this information directly? Would you have had someone else do it?
I would have gone down to the engine pit and explained what I want him to do.
Okay. So then we'll place you in the scene here. If you would like, you can go through the full conversation, or we can just cut through the basics, which is Raldar, you hear There is an underwater Klingon vessel, unknown whether it is still functional, possibly waterlogged and filled with fish.
Yeah,
Nice.
we'll just take it as read.
A salvage mission.
Potential salvage mission.
Potential.
You're gonna have to go in a suit, and there's gonna be a lot of water.
I see. I should be able to handle that. Is there anything specific about this ship? Since you said it's convenient.
No, not necessarily, but it's there. It's more or less intact, and I could always use another ship.
All right. I'll go down and see how operational it is.
Good job, my friend.
No. With this,
Hopla.
with this, I'll momentarily give voice to Kelshaw here.
Wait, didn't she leave the ship?
No, Rev decided that he wanted to make use of the character more broadly. Or at least I received the
O'Brien.
request.
Yes, the O'Brien of the ship.
Yep. I'll momentarily interject with her. Well, if that ship is still functioning, then suppose we could try to run the tractor beam, though it's going to be interesting trying to pull up an object that is compromised from the water. Hopefully it's still even space-worthy.
Well, that's why I'm asking you to go there first.
Yes.
No use trying to get it out of the water if we can't use it. And if worse comes to worse, it's going to have a plethora of spare parts.
Spare parts?
If need be.
Zion all just decloak.
Where did you come from?
Oh, I've been here the whole time, just cataloging how many stem bolts we had in the engine pits, as one does.
I see.
I heard there's a new model that came out.
And he sort of
seal themselves.
He sort of looks over at Zionol and says, "There may also be interesting things in their cargo hold.
Well, I'm sure
Would
we
you care?
could benefit
Would you
from
care to
that.
go along?"
Well, I mean,
with-
I don't want to take up valuable room that could be used for a technician who could make the ship functional. But if there's room, I would accompany whoever decides to join.
I look at Roldar. Take his take his tiny self along. He may prove more useful than you think.
Very well. I'm sure it'll be easier to squeeze him into a suit.
I could have sworn we got some suits that were the right size for you guys.
Well, I know I got one that was the right size for me, but I just ordered triple XL and hoped it would fit for the Gorn. They were on special.
Good plan.
Over the comm lines, let's see if I've... I'll just play this for a moment. That's not a good tone for it. We'll have to work on more Klingon sound effects later. Oh, Captain, DuPont here.
Yes.
Or rather, my lord, honestly, I was a little confused about the command situation, but, good old Captain Essex got it all clarified. Just wanted to let you know, away team is coming together. They should be ready to go down with you. At least
Will you have a problem beaming a salvage team into a ship full of water?
That's an interesting one, and not one I'd considered. Let me look through. Oh dear. Oh, I will say, Captain, I don't know that that'd be the best idea. It might honestly be better. I could put you very close to the shoreline near the ship. It's actually where I was going to beam part of the group, as the doctors expressed interest in investigating a life sign that recently seemed to have is in a difficult state. Not, you can imagine Kresic being nearby. Not that I'm sure that our good doctor friend couldn't give them a quick 1-2 and get them back on their feet.
Kresic, you're planning on beaming down separate from the rest of the landing party?
I'm sorry, I'm confused now. Because there's 2 doctors. And what DuPont said, I don't know who he was referring to.
I was under the... perhaps I was mistaken there from earlier description when we were talking about characters going down. There is a life sign that recently seems to have gone out. The patient that might need assistance was... I didn't know if that was what you were going for, or if you were wanting to beam in with the...
Well, that's what one of the 2 crews is going to do, right?
No, the 2 crews, one is going down to where the transponder is, the other is going into the ship.
I was gonna bring Lynn with me. So that's 2. And I thought we were taking Dar.
Yeah, let me put us back on
there's a part...
Sorry, I'm very confused now. There's a transponder.
Yep. Let me.
A life sign. Sorry, this is when my Discord was.
I see.
Out.
Here,
I feel like I missed some context.
Okay, so commercial break. Then things come back, and we get a broad overview of the map here, which DuPont is looking over. As a matter of fact, he's imagine a cat's paw pointing over little bits as a slightly extended. Something slightly elongates to give it almost the appearance of a fully articulated hand, but much closer to paw than proper hand. So, as we see it here, there are some Klingon life signs. One in the center of the island near the volcanic top. I think there's at least one here, and one on the northern shore. Then we've got one biosign here in red that seems to be going out. Not sure if they've survived. There is a transponder signal of some sort that is appearing on the southern coast here. That apparently something that the Lord is interested in. So, I was going to send. I'll send one team, I guess, to look at the transporter if that's what the Lord Tabok wants, and then as I understand now, there's a salvaging group. The actual nearest place to the salvage would be this shoreline over here. So I was going to beam the salvagers down there. I could send you there, Dr. Kresic, if you so wanted, or I could put you right here. It's whatever you want, just please don't eat me.
Okay, now I understand. So the salvage crew is actually closer to where the injured life sign is.
Quite right. As we look away from the map here, I'm going to put the away team that is taking shape. I'm just going to stick us in the transporter room where away teams are steadily taking shape. Kresik, you've had the opportunity to give medical examinations to this small, what as far as you can tell is it like very much appears to be a cat that would have been on the captain's like that wouldn't be out of sight as being something out of the captain's menagerie, except for that it has been augmented with cybernetics and possibly other processes that give it the ability to gain sapience and otherwise be otherwise interact with the crew.
Okay, so where is the other doctor wanting to go?
Dr. Chuja has not shown up yet, strictly speaking, despite his
Okay.
token being right there. But he has not announced his intention to go on this mission as of yet.
Okay. Okay, this throws a massive wrinkle in what I was thinking was happening.
Apologies.
No, it's okay. It's on me for having internet issues. Because he wouldn't go to the site of the transponder. He'd go to the site of the injured life sign, but I already have a supporting character going over there.
I mean, Zionol probably wouldn't be staying in that area for very long. No more than long enough to... would it be too far to say no more than long enough to loot the individual?
Probably. I'm sorry. I'm completely like... Give me a second. I gotta figure out what I need to do.
Of course. While you're doing...
struggling.
Yeah, while you're doing that, we'll say, Tabak, at least you step into the room here. You see the human that was brought aboard, as well as Hamok and Dar, of all people, seems to have come in, which you could just imagine that scene playing out. Hey, you want to come down to this planet? Okay.
Oh, the captain's going on this mission?
The captain is also going on this mission.
Oh, okay. Then Kresik doesn't have to go because the captain has his own doctor.
Okay,
Oh.
hold on. All right, hold on. This is what Tabak wanted to happen. Tabak wants to investigate the transponder. And that's why he's bringing Hamok and his team of hand-picked murder hobos. Sean was assuming that the other doctor was going to want to come along. If that's not happening, that's fine. We also have a downed ship in the water. And Tabak wants to send a team into this waterlogged ship to see if it is salvageable. So that team is Raldar, and he wanted Zionol to go with Raldar into the sunken ship. And whoever else Raldar was going to take with him to go investigate the sunken ship. Somebody was worried about the life sign that was fading. I thought that was Kresik, so that was why he was going to beam down separately to go take a look at that.
Oh, I didn't even realize I was beaming down completely separately. I thought I was going with one of the crews.
I thought that's what you were trying to do.
Oh, I see.
Based on what the cat at the console was telling me.
His name is DuPont, and he's a man.
He's a cat.
He's a cat. He's definitely a cat.
Don't listen to them.
I tend to think of myself as quite the cool cat man.
We're gonna start in the spay and neuter room now.
Okay, now I see it all. Now all the pieces have come together.
That was Tabak's plan.
Yes.
Two parties, two landing parties, one for the transponder, one heavily armed and ready to murder anything that makes our day difficult, going to the transponder. The other going into the sunken ship. Where Kresik was going to go, I was unsure.
I thought the transponder was close to the fading life sign because of when my internet cut out.
That's okay. If he brings,
So I get it now.
If Mr. GM brings up the
Yeah,
map
I saw
again-
the map now.
Right.
I understand where everything is.
The green dot's the transponder, and the red dot's the life sign that's fading fast.
Yes. So I will beam down with the second in the group of the second crew, but be going to the life
Okay.
sign.
So the crashed ship is just offshore from the one who's dying.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's where I will be going.
Okay.
It all comes together now.
Eventually, yeah.
My apologies for being slow on this.
Don't worry about it.
So yes.
So I was assuming now at this point that the crew coming with me. Okay, there's me, there's Hemok, there's Dar, the cyborg lady.
I called dibs on her.
Oh, so what? You're going into the ship.
No, I was gonna go with Kresic.
Okay, so we're gonna have 3
Okay,
landing buggies then.
Why are you coming with me?
I'm getting scientific readings. Having you and the cyborg lady, I can be safe. Plus, I can help you with medical.
You know I have a name.
What is it?
Lynn.
Lynn.
Huh. That's not the name I would have thought, but you know what? I'll take it. Lynn it is.
Okay, so
Traven,
we're gonna
you should go with the others to the transponder.
And get shot at?
They will need someone with technical expertise.
Tabak side eyes Kresic at that statement.
Isn't Tabak an engineer?
Tabak's job is to lead his house, his subjects. Now, that is not the job of an engineer.
Indeed.
It's my job. Oh, go ahead.
Indeed. A familiar, relatively light voice comes, from behind you, Tabak. That is one thing that this other medical professional and I can agree on.
Tabak's eyes just roll loudly in his head.
We may need to see about. We may need to check on that later. Make sure that your eye sockets.
Oh, he's still behind him, so
Yep.
he can't see the eyes rolling.
You said they rolled loudly.
Oh, please.
In
They
exaggerated
make a
fashion.
clicking noise,
Yep.
a click-clackety noise.
Tabak has the worst eye
They
socket
roll
joints.
with emphasis.
Yep.
They roll with emphasis.
No.
Bold. They're in bold, italics, and underlined.
Chokwi, I just have a supplemental, injection for you to ensure that any diseases common to such tropical worlds or broad spectrum sorts of it should be filtered out. Of course, the transporter will do some work, and I expect to see you in your quarters so that I may provide service to you, aiding the ensuring that there is no illness.
Who are you?
Doctor, I have had my full spectrum
One can never.
antibiotics and everything.
One
You
can-
have to have those to travel.
And I am simply providing supplemental ones for tropical environments. As you know, I serve the captain, and I would be remiss if I did not ensure you carry out your mission such as you know it must be done. I simply wish to make you best able to complete your work.
Tabak whirls and glowers at him, and his hand touches the mek'leth, and then he goes, "As you wish, Doc."
With that, he will approach and give you administer a hypo spray.
Kresic addresses the rest of the crew. As you all are aware, with the injections I gave you in advance, before the last possible minute to enter the transporter room and leave this planet, leave the ship, you have all been properly inoculated as well. Nothing is more important than timely preparation.
All right, so we're having 3 landing parties.
Such appears to be the case. Congratulations,
Okay,
you've
is
split
the other
party.
doctor coming with me, or is he staying on board the ship?
Oh no, I believe you are more than capable of carrying out this mission on your own.
So,
at the
am
very
I
least.
taking Traven with me? Or is he going with Kresic?
Listen, I die a lot. I'm not going to leave the dude who keeps me alive alone. Just not.
All right, and is Lynn going to go with them as well?
Please.
Traven
No.
would very much like that, but
No.
Kresic
Military parties must be at full strength.
I was going to say Caligo does have some agency here, so you can either go with the bearded dude that has been calling you Cyborg Lady all day, or you can go with the man that pays your bills. Currently.
I do have a beer.
I mean, he really is just so pathetic. I almost feel kind of bad for him.
That's what I call my charm.
That's what he calls his charm. I mean, Lynn would be more than happy to go with Traven. If he truly is so afraid.
You die twice, you don't want it to happen again.
Ah, there are things worse.
Indeed.
Nah. Nope. Mm-mm. You'd think that. Nope.
So, I'm trying to just figure out who's freaking.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess Chuck, it's me, and it's the big lizard.
Yeah, it's looking like me, Dar, and Hemok. There's not enough brains in this organization here.
Oh, I don't think you're that dumb, my lord.
He makes a good point. We'd be dead without you.
Fine. If it will get you to go with this crew, I will go with this group. Why you are all so emotionally stunted, I do not understand.
Okay, so Kresic, Traven, and Lynn are now coming with me.
Yes, because Kresic's not happy about it, but the military force needs to have the military members.
Yeah. So then the other team so far is Raldar, Zynal, and Kelsha,
Mm-hmm.
The engineering team.
the engineering team. And we don't have anybody else named at the moment who could go with them.
I
Because
didn't.
Vopri is not going anywhere. He's on board the ship. If Vopri leaves the ship explodes. I know that. It's just what will happen without Vopri. Vopri is the glue that holds us all together.
Yes.
I don't want to bring Nogri. Paul Hui is going to stay on board the ship for right now.
Well, tell you what.
Somebody else engineer.
How about we sort out the second team later and allow those of you going down to the planet first.
Okay, because that gives us 6 people, and we've only got 6 transporter pads, so that'll work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I sent you a message, Mr. GM.
I'm going back to review that right now. So, yeah, I will say yes, and that I'll add the caveat here in answer to that. All right, so do the rest of you. Is everybody ready to get on the transporter pads then?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Those of you that are immediately ready to go, you can start moving your tokens over. This is a good moment to test whether you can, in fact, move your tokens onto the pads. Dr. Chucha looks and says, "Hoopla, Captain."
Right.
And
Crescent goes a long way around and just growls a little bit at DuPont as he makes his way around.
Okay. So yeah, a quick bend down to growl and whatnot. Oh, sorry about that. I'll let you move that back there. I was just like, Actually, Kresk, I'm going to move you off the pad just for a moment, just to do
Okay.
one little thing here. Okay, you can move back on the pad now.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Everybody ready to go?
Yes, don't put us into a rock.
I will
Do it.
I will avoid that. Engaging transporters. And with that, the transporters engage, and the activated pads set up, and those of you on the activated pads disappear.
He'll be safer with the military team anyways.
All right. Do you want me to send you down to the other site now, or do you want me to wait till we have? Or are you staying behind? I'm sorry. I'm just very confused, and I don't want
I
to be eaten.
understand. I understand. First of all,
Signal
I
coming in
don't
from the
eat
planet.
you.
Signal coming in from the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Transporter room Kresic didn't materialize. Double check the system.
Okay. I'm getting right on that, my lord. DuPont is frantically looking like he's busy. He's going full keyboard cat basically.
Kresic to Tabok.
Kresic, why are you still up there?
Because there are lives that need to be saved, and Traven will be safer with a dedicated military party, and you will be stronger with a dedicated military party with appropriate technical and scientific expertise. It is tactically sound.
Doctor, we're going to have a conversation one of these days about orders. Do what you will. And then he closes the channel.
Dear, oh dear.
I will wait for the other crew.
All right. Dear, oh dear. I hope I'm not on that part of the conversation.
You did help me.
Oh, that's right. Oh, drat. I've got to be careful. I don't exactly have 9 lives over here. Not so far as this, not so far as Tabok is concerned. I'd better speak with Hazak after this. And we'll leave off the scene there with you waiting for the others to join you as DuPont gets set to send you and the others down to the site to the secondary site. For the rest of you, you have already materialized on the planet below. You have found yourself... Oh, let's make sure that I'm sending the right group of people here. Okay, back to transporter room. That's where all the ghosts are. Okay, so transporter room. Sent you. Grab that group and sorry guys, just getting things moved about. Alright, the away team has materialized along a shoreline here. I'll go ahead and move this over. Token, let's see. You've materialized on the shoreline of an island, particularly on the southern end of it. Warm winds blow across the water, which also carries a bit of the cool and refreshing sense of the from the waves. It's a balance between that and the relatively hot temperatures. The island is approaching the nighttime terminus, so it's probably an evening relative to the rest of the island. And it seems as though the forest is, or rather the island ahead of you is it has a very sort of tropical arrangement to the plant life. Quite a bit of greenery, other small flowers throughout. Good vacation spot, you would suspect.
Nice and comfortably warm and humid for a Klingon.
Yes, but maybe a little brighter, or you suspect it would get a little bright during the day.
Is there any recognizable, hardened fruit or edible vegetation?
I don't know that Dar eats either fruit or vegetation. I think that his food supply is about the only thing he might have with him right now is the fellow party members.
I'm pretty sure Dar is not that discerning. He'll eat fruits. Oh, sorry. And nuts.
Are there any large rocks nearby, or about hand sized?
There is a your-sized hand rock.
His curiosity is getting the best of him, and he wants to try to skip the rock across the water.
Oh dear. Give me a daring plus security roll. Or this would be control plus security, actually. At a difficulty of 2, he picks up a rock that is not quite flat enough and that, seems bigger and weightier, and but with a firm, lightning-fast throw from his genetically augmented arms. That rock does skip a little bit before drowning with a loud plunk into the waves.
I clap.
he laughs a little bit, then looks over at Taybox, I'm assuming very annoyed face, and then he kind of shakes the dirt off his hands and stands up straight.
Tabak Tabak just sighs, pulls out the tricorder, and tries to home in on the signal.
All right. Since you've done a little bit of work at this already, or you've put in a very close sight, give me a reason plus security roll with a difficulty of 1.
Yeah, I don't think any of my focuses apply. Okay.
Okay, well, at 2 successes,
We get back another momentum.
you do. Joe, you may draw a momentum at your leisure.
Okay.
And as a result of that, yeah, that should that actually matches up with what we've got right now. That should be 3 points of momentum. So, Tabak.
Perfect.
Yep. Tabak, you run your scanner around looking for that very specific frequency. The signal is stronger now that you are actually on the surface and at the distance that you are. The signal takes you about like a dozen paces slightly deeper into the jungle when you realize that you slightly pass the signal, it indicates you're initially getting closer, then with the one excess step passing by a tree just slightly further away. You turn around to rehome on the signal, and you find what appears to be a small, relatively flat, tan gray device at the foot of a tree. There's no one with it.
Okay, before I even touch it, I'm scanning it for genetic traces or, scanning it to see if maybe there's like words on the dang thing that are microscopic. I'm looking for every possible clue I can find.
There doesn't appear to be any inscription. The device itself is nondescript, something that could very easily be hidden on a person. How it was loosened from them is another question. And maybe a slightly disturbing one. Though there are no signs of blood or anything of the sort.
Are there like fabric fibers, like it was attached to a belt or a piece of clothing, and it was ripped off and dropped here? Is there like a little microscopic dent in its surface or in the tree where that would match, or cells from the tree in the edge of the little doodad, suggesting that someone whacked their hip against the tree and dropped the transponder?
I'm going to say that that might take a momentum to get a better sign of here if you want to obtain the information.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
All right. So for 1 momentum, I can tell you that it looks as though, based on where it landed, like looking around, you're not so you're not so tactically minded. You could see maybe a few signs of like a stick or two like being knocked askance, and or like a few things that are broken. So you could guess that there are signs of some sort of chase, and perhaps at some point, maybe an accidental slide against a tree caused it to be lost, or maybe this target, this person that you've been sent to retrieve, was clever enough to think that maybe, just maybe, they were also being tracked by it, and thus they could have decided to drop it. The exact intention behind it, or whatever decision motivated that, remains a mystery without having them there in person to ask.
All right, where's the nearest? I'm not going to say humanoid, but where's the nearest Klingonoid life sign to us? And I mean nearest by travel, not necessarily by distance, because the one in the caldera, we'd have to be climbing up a mountain to get to.
Checking over the small version of the island map that I'm gonna blow back up for you here.
Kaboom.
Yeah. So your away team has beamed up, or beamed down roughly in proximity to that. There's over this little ridge area here. There is a sort of path through the what appears to be a valley type area around this segment.
Here?
Yeah. You'd basically be
Okay.
trudging through the jungles, and sensors suggest that there is likely something, or someone, I should say, in that area that you could encounter.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the one we're headed towards.
Yep. There's slight movement suggesting it might be heading north, near as what the Yan is able to relay. You find that the sensor signal here is not instantaneous. It's coming in like 10-second bursts, updating the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
While we're down here, Traven, Lynn, anything that you two want to do? Other mischief for Dar?
I was, Captain, may I look at the scene where you found that?
Please.
DM,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use my, join talent,
Okay.
and I'm going to gain the tracking focus.
All right.
And, are there any footprints?
Give me an insight plus security roll, please. Or I will allow science to substitute, I guess, in this case.
Gonna be a hard one though, isn't it? Because it's been days and there's been weather, and this is just sand.
It is, and there has, just if you were looking at the sand, but picking up from the sticks, or like these sticks that are snapped in the tropical end, it seems as though most of the current prints you have, such that there's anything that hasn't been degraded by the weather, it does seem that everything is pointing towards northward travel.
May I use a momentum to gain information?
Yes.
How many?
Um,
Is it just the one, or is it one being with another?
I think that you could tease out one distinct set of footprints, and then an indeterminate number, of multiple, at least two people, possibly a third, with heavier boots.
Traveling in single file to hide their numbers.
Something like that.
Sorry. So sorry.
I don't think he's gonna be alone, Captain.
Probably not.
I'm noticing multiple sets of footprints, minimum 3.
Let us get moving.
Okay. Before we leave the group here, or before we move on with that, Lynn, anything else that, anything you'd take notice of, or just anything that she's doing right now?
No, not at the moment. She's just observing the big one.
Yeah. Yeah. With that, any last things you want to do there, Dar, or things he's currently running at?
No, just following T-Box.
All right. So, with the weapons you have on hand, which before we go on, I will ask, are you guys paying the escalation to bring heavier weapons, or is it just disruptor pistols, mechleths, and the lighter stuff?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Have more threat. Yeah, we brought all the toys.
I will accept that as a blanket thing, so everybody is welcome to the full array of weapons that ground weapons the Yon can provide.
I mean, Plasma Repeater didn't have an escalation fee on there.
Yeah, that is true. But this will give you disruptor rifles, spears, and sure enough, Hemok was sure to distribute grenades to everybody, even you, Traven.
Thank
dear.
you.
All right.
I feel like Dar would have the equivalent of like a two-handed warhammer. Would that be possible?
I like
Yeah,
I like the idea, but I feel like we need to set up plot for that. That needs to be a B plot of its own for Kresic, or
Okay.
rather for Raldar to decide what weapons he's going to give his boy.
I grab another rock, another big rock about my hand size.
That's not very sportsmanlike.
He has claws. He doesn't get rock.
I knew you'd at least get it, Sean.
skill against skill alone. You mean I put down my sword and you put down your rock and try to kill each other like civilized people?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so, yeah, we'll say that you the five of you start making your way through the jungle and trying to find this next contact here. Meanwhile, let's check in with the second team beaming down, which, as I understood it, that was going to be Kresic was going to go down with them, so that was going to include Raldar. I think Zional was interested in his own secondary objective there. Was Kelshaw also being asked for? Or was she
For
staying on the
the-
ship?
For the
Extraction.
the salvage team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Waldar, Kelshaw, and Zional.
Okay. Well, Rev...
At least if there's any other people who could go, like the unnamed meat puppets, just to add extra hands.
Yeah. We'll say that they're being readied in case things are more conducive to it. But for now, too many inexperienced hands would be a little messy. So let's just put down that group at the moment. Kresic, I can't imagine you're particularly happy with almost anybody that you're beaming down with, save for Kelshaw, as you appear on the surface of this planet. Maybe Zional. I don't know Kresic's feelings towards Zional.
Doesn't care one way or another.
Yep.
He's a bit untrustworthy.
Yep. Raldar just drags down the whole bearability metrics.
Honestly. True. Too true.
Yes. So, the four of you beam down. I need to move over the camera a little bit. You see that there's actually a fairly large fire burning relatively nearby. It looks like it's in the process of actually smoldering down, so it would suggest it was probably built some time ago. That seems to be diminishing now. It's again in the all of you are met with the relative humidity and warmth of the area. The sun is starting to set on the horizon, and you see in the distance, besides the normal signs of a very active tropical environment, They're mostly small creatures, near as you can make out. There appears to be a figure lying down in the ground there.
I'm gonna head over there.
All right. As Zional or Kresic? Or who'd be the
As
first one?
Kresic.
Yeah.
Kresic will be the first one.
All right. You make your way over there. Zional, I'm sure, would be perfectly happy to let you go first.
Yep.
So you guys close the, or at least Kresic closes the distance here. Shrink you guys down just a little bit. Zion will stay back. Kresic goes over to look at them. I'll let you take the first initiative and get a quick medical scan, or just general check of the vital signs. That can be reason or insight with your medicine discipline.
I will do reason and medicine, and one of my focuses applies.
Most certainly. You approach the character. He is lying on his side, eyes closed, unconscious. As you approach him, you pull out your medical scanner. At a difficulty of 1, your 2 successes will net you a
Becomes
point
4 successes.
You will net
because
2
of my augmented ability.
Indeed.
So it's a total of 4 successes.
Yep. So Joe, you can draw 2 points of momentum there. As you pop open the sensors and glance over the biosign readings, you are disappointed to see that the life signs appear to have discontinued very firmly several minutes ago. The readout shows that this Klingon appears to have been subjected to a number of stresses that your scanner would very clearly see. Considerable amounts of stress. You'd imagine some signs of exhaustion, but also considerable exertion with his muscles. Burns that are clearly indicated on the clothes and on the skin. I'd say up to 2nd-degree burns, it would seem. A lot focused around his hands. It appears that he had a disruptor pistol. It's not too far away from him, actually, but one that shows some signs of discharge in the past, you'd say sometime in the past couple of days. I suppose the medical scanner wouldn't show as much sign of it. He himself doesn't seem to have any sort of injuries that would suggest a fight of any sort. So, no lacerations that would be based on a blade, no weapon impacts. This man just seems to have dealt with quite a considerable, you'd guess that he was in some sort of very dire situation, and that his body just succumbed to other injuries from that.
Okay, so my question is, did this character suffer a lethal injury and die because they did not receive medical treatment in time?
I would... correct me if I'm wrong. Are you using a roll of sorts to grant your...
I have a talent.
Okay. Would that be just a single question that you get for free?
So, no. So my talent set states that when a character is killed, you may spend 1 determination to make an attempt to revive them.
Okay.
The difference is, if they were killed instantly by suffering 2 injuries, then this can only be attempted within the scene that they were killed instantly. But if there was a lethal injury and died because they didn't receive medical treatment in time, then it can be done before the end of the following scene.
Okay.
Which means that I think I should have time to try this talent.
Yeah. I'm going to say that he was... I'm going to say that, timely medical assistance for him was probably like quite some time ago. This man probably has been like just hanging on or like in a literal death spiral for the over the past day or so. And medical intervention could give him some extra time. Or like if you had intervened earlier in the day, then you could at least buy him maybe a few more hours. But to actually save him or like stabilize him firmly would be a much more difficult question.
Okay, so my talent that allows me to bring someone back from being dead would not apply then, is what you're saying.
I think that's more or less the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that I was understanding that.
Yep. So yeah, that's your firm. That's your readout of the body, as it were. Would Kresic do anything else or take a further look over the individual?
I mean, he'd try to assess what he can, but...
Okay. I'll ask for one more roll here. This will be an insight and... I would say insight and... security or science would probably be the applicable disciplines. Or you could spend a point of momentum to obtain further information as to the man's general surroundings.
What would be the difficulty of the roll?
The difficulty on the task would be 2.
Okay. Everyone have fine if I just spend a point of momentum?
Go ahead.
All right. I will obtain additional information through spending the momentum.
All right. Thank you there, Joe. You notice around his hand there appears to be, not too far off, there appear to be some Klingon letters that are laid out. I am going to spend 2 points of threat to create a complication that restricts the knowledge you would get. The letters have eroded a bit, such that you can pick out roughly the what would come out as in English as possible. Like translated to English, it would appear to be a capital S, or the equivalent letter for that, a U, and then you're not entirely clear on the third letter, but it appears like it could be a form that most directly corresponds to a Q, so the word shuk. The problem is, where the complication comes in, is that because the weather has degraded it, you are not sure which one the last letter, at the very least, was meant to be. And that affects things in a significant way. You know vaguely from your Klingon, Kresic, that that has 2 translations. One of those would be to gain or acquire, or is the basic verb form of that. The other would be roughly toxic.
Roldar Kelshaw, what do you make of this? As I point out the written Klingon.
Raldar walk over. What was it written on again?
It was
sand, right?
Yeah, it was basically the man probably like used either the pistol or his own hands to try and make the letters. It's very crudely formed, and wind has been definitely messing with this, so it's not as clear. You're pretty certain about what is the capitalized S, the lowercase u, and then the third letter, which could either make it translate to basically a verb form of acquire, obtain, or get, or if it was meant to be capitalized, it is roughly the form of toxic.
It doesn't seem like he died of any dangerous assault here.
I see. Well, my own. He was either trying to send a message that he needed to get something, or the more likely one is toxic warning, since he died. Did he? Trying to look around, see if it looks like he ate anything.
There's no signs of anything in the way of a ration, or some sort of ration pack that's on him or in his immediate surroundings. I'd say, Kresic, taking a second glance over those sensor readings, you can guess that he did not have a chance to eat anything in the past couple days either.
He did not eat in some time. Whether that is due to his physical degradation, or because of his knowledge of something here on the planet that kept him from eating, I cannot say.
Maybe we can transport the body up and have the other doctor do an autopsy on the ship.
May be wise.
If there were something poisonous to us on this planet, then I would think the sensors would have pointed it out here. Could it be the ship itself that was perhaps contaminated somehow?
Well, we'll find that out when we're on board.
Kelshaw, she'll give a very slight shake of her head or like something just moving a little off to the right side as she starts unloading the equipment. I imagine that you guys partially beamed down with the pressure suits, which are effectively just your environmental suits. I think it's safe to say Kelshaw is never keen on the plans that seem at least partly foolish.
Just in case, I'll be the only one to go on board at first. And I'll get some scans since I'm likely to be more resistant to whatever's in there.
She stops getting on the EV suit, although she has it to where she can quickly get on the basically the gloves and helmet component. Well, if you're certain, then I can remain here. Otherwise, I could join you in support. I will say that it does look like there would be it would take considerable effort if you were to go in there alone and to become stuck in some fashion. Then it would take time if I remained on the shoreline.
That is a fair point, but that's why we will keep an open comm link. I'll try not to. I'll just focus on getting inside and get a quick scan of any systems.
Kelshaw.
But if you wish to risk it, I will not deny you.
Kelshaw is going to think about this. At this point, I'll leave her thinking about that for a moment, and I'd say that as some players have a bit more stake in the supporting character, I'll allow community involvement in that decision there, rather than have the GM override, or like the GM just dictate what it is.
All right, get up the straw poll. Vet on the fate of our assistant engineer.
Buddy system's always important, is my theory on, don't split the party so that there's only one person in a particular location.
I mean, I was just saying Kelshaw didn't have to come. I wasn't giving Zion all freedom.
Oh no.
Zionol wouldn't go unless he was certain it was safe. He has self-preservation.
Yeah. Speaking
Kelshaw
of,
would, yeah.
First, Rev, by all means, go ahead and like whatever you wanted to say there.
I feel like the fact that Raldar is going to lead the crew may influence Kelshaw to accompany him, because it's not just another commanding officer leading, sending people to their deaths.
Completely fair. So, we can say then Kelshaw finishes putting on her gear, and we'll still oblige Raldar that way. As to what I was about to say there, while the three of them...
Can I requisition some equipment?
What did you have in mind?
I don't know, but I'm gonna go over to the body, and I'm gonna do a quick equipment requisition roll on this body.
Yep. Let's see. Give me a... Let's call this insight plus... looking for gear, I'm debating. Command could apply. Engineering could also apply, since you're looking for gear. Let's see here.
I'd say I'm less looking for things of, like, standard issue stuff, It's not like I'm looking for his disruptor pistol, because we got plenty of those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for things that are either going to be of value or will tell us something about him that could be useful to sell, to somebody who might be looking for him. Where's my sweet baby son? That kind of thing.
Of course. I'll say then, let's throw in command on this one, as this would be the role here would give you some insight into the benefactors of this particular soldier.
And equipment requisition would be a focus that I could use.
That would apply.
Dang. Okay then.
Let's see here. Let me click on. Make sure the chat's visible there. Oh dear.
Narrative complication.
Okay, you've rolled a natural 20 there, and taken the narrative complication. So working to dislodge things, you find there's some bits of equipment here, some dictox, he has a dictox still in its holster. Not really interesting, plenty of those knives on the ship. So you bypass it, you look through other things, you go through his pockets, and I think that, with the narrative in mind, you actually find a small little, you do find a small, box on his person, more like a sort of a metallic tube of sorts.
Is it sealed?
You think so at first, but as you try to dislodge it, you find it's actually cracked open.
That can't be good. That really can't be good. What does it look like?
I'd say based on your acquisitions, sealed medical canister would be the closest approximation.
Well, that really cannot be good.
And I...
Uh,
Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. No, please.
I was just thinking of using that complication to cut off the scene.
Yeah.
Yep. So as Zional is channeling the a number of Job Bluth gifts and saying, "I've made a huge mistake." Yeah, as he questions his life choices, we end at this point now. So for those of you that want to ever join us live on this, we run this game at we run the game every Saturday at Saturday. Jeez, sorry. Apparently, I need to stop this because I'm running low on steam anyway. We run this game every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those of you catching it in the archive, the GM is generally just a little more put together than this, so I assure you, more. We'll get to more of this, and more will be. It'll be interesting. Until then, this is where we will leave off in the recording. So you folks have a good rest of your day.